There you go. So now we're screencasting. So like I said, I'll post this up later so you guys can view it again. If you go to my website, thecowan.rocks, it'll bring you right here. You'll see MACUL 2016 is a button right there. It's also down there, and then later on I'll put it under training, so because eventually it will disappear off my main page. But all that stuff will always be there for you. If you go to the MACUL 2016, I did 2 other sessions before this, so you can go in here and steal more stuff if you like. It's all kind of somewhat useful. You can come in here, but you see Getting Crazy with Google Add-ons is the last link on there. When you open that up, it brings you to this, which is a Trillboard. Trillboards are really fun. Anyone ever use a Trillboard? These are great. It's just like little to-do lists, and you can just customize it, do whatever you want. And I do like a lot of my lesson plans and stuff on here for students because I'm unorganized, and so this is somewhat an organized organization for me, and I like that. This is everything we're going to do today. We're gonna try this. Woo! Try to do live stuff. These are the different scripts and add-ons I'll show you over under the To Learn. I have all the forms made, but what I'm going to do is have you guys actually take the forms, and then I'll walk through how you set that add-on to do something. I try to curtail everything to fit something that maybe you'd be doing in your classroom and kind of talk about that. If any point, though, I go too fast somewhere or skip something, yell. You know, you can raise a hand, but that kind of is weird, you know. Whatever works best, you know, go for it. Now, personally, I am Justin Cowan. I am from the Dickinson Iron Intermediate School District. So if you take the mitten, get rid of the mitten, you know, we're up here, like, on the Wisconsin border, all right? So I'm up in the Kingsford Iron Mountain area is where I'm from, a technology integrationist there. I also taught for a couple of years down in Illinois in South Beloit. And for some reason became an athletic director because that made sense because I was good with computers. So congratulations, you are now in charge of sports. You know, I'm like, yeah, okay. I didn't do that too long. I left. No. And then I was a network director for a small school district in northern Wisconsin called Florence. So that was kind of fun. But now I get to do this full time, so that's cool. Also on here, if you're ever looking for more resources, you know, my website has all kinds of really good stuff, thecowan.rocks. There's a remind sign up if you want to get my resources I send out every once in a while. Also, if anyone to like John Sawash's session, I made an official Chrome app. Yeah, it's a bookmark, but I did it. So let's go through. We'll start talking add-ons, going through these things. What you'll notice is on the Trillboard, there's these lists. And in the list, you have the little white squares we call cards. When you click a card, there's more stuff, all right? So you can see in here, we're going to do Flubaroo. Flubaroo is one of the most popular Google add-ons. What Flubaroo does is it grades, all right? A student does a Google form, and then you actually, it's kind of like a Scantron, you set the answer key, and it just magically grades it. Very handy, very kind of cool. The best part actually is the end result when it emails students, because that looks really cool, all right? So I'm going to actually have you guys take a little test, okay? See, start the morning right. It's fun, all right? So if you click in there, there's Let's Learn About the McRib, all right? Everyone's favorite. So if you click it, take a minute here and complete this Google form. Note, I ask for your email address. I sell that to the vendors. No, I'm just joking. The email address is kind of important to have in there because I am going to be emailing you the results. If you were doing this in your classroom, you wouldn't have to ask for the email because you could automatically gather that information. But since you're not all members of the Bryan Township Schools, I can't do that. Plus, there's more people here than I think we have employees. So, you know. There are real answers. I'll kind of check, see that we're getting some responses in here. Let's go to my Flubaroo. Ooh, wow, lots of responses. Good, so now we can start talking about how this works. So, what you do is you create a Google form. All right, it's something, multiple choice works best, true and false. You can do like fill in the blank and essay, but it's a little harder to grade. I don't know if anyone uses like MACUL in their school district or some kind of like online test taking stuff. The worst part is always the short answer. I just have kids do it on paper and grade it by hand. It's just easier. Then I just weigh them, see which one has the most lead, and call it the best answers. Now, the key to Flubaroo is once the students take it, at some point you have to create an answer key. So you either want to be the first person to do it or the last person to do it, because it just makes it easier. So I'm going to do my answer key right now. So first name, answer, last name, key. I'll put my own email address in there. It'll be fun. So I put it in there. So does it contain actual pork? Yes, it does contain actual pork. True or false, the McRib bun contains the same component as yoga mats? Yes. It is. It's kind of creepy. But so it's either good for the yoga mats or good for the McRib. I don't care. It's delicious. The slivered onions are actually baby eels from Maine. McDonald's actually had to do a press release to say, no, that is not true. All right? But it became popular enough that they did that. So I'm going to hit submit. When I do that, it generates into my responses here. So here in my Google Drive, I can see a couple things. All right? I created the Google form, which is the purple. I like that they changed the color now. It makes it a lot easier. All right? I see there's my form, and here's my responses, my little Google Sheet. Now, add-ons are something that run within a Google part, like a Google Doc or inside a Google Sheet or a Google form. It's something additional that runs. So the way we get those is when you open up a sheet, there should be a little tab up here called Add-ons. When I click Add-ons, all right, I already have Flubaroo in here added. What you would have to do is down here there's a spot that says Get Add-ons. There are a whole bunch of crazy add-ons. I mean, there's more add-ons in here. I don't even know what some of them do. But if we come in here, you can see there's all kinds of different add-ons. Now, right now, Flubaroo is in the top really big square. Tomorrow, maybe down here in the corner, it's Google. They don't put anything in the same place twice. All right? But all you have to do is click it, and you can hit Add. And it magically adds to your Google Sheet. Now, once you do that, and it's actually added to your add-ons, all I do is click Add-ons. I can see Flubaroo is listed in here. And I hit Enable Flubaroo. Now, it's nice because it takes you step by step on what you have to do. Come on, little Flubaroo. So I'm going to grade the assignment, and you can regrade these, so don't freak out like, oh my gosh, once I do it, it's done. These, you can do it over and over. Even if kids are late, it's good. So when Flubaroo opens up, it's going to come up and start walking me through here. It tries to guess, it takes each of those little columns that are in here, and it says, okay, what are these things? So first name identifies the student, last name identifies the student, email address identifies the student. You can see here then what you get is here's my 3 questions. Flubaroo is smart enough to kind of say, okay, this must be an assignment or a question. You can then assign different point values. You can do 1 through 10, so whatever you want to make your points worth. I always do even numbers because I don't know what's fun. We'll say 2 points for that one. True or false, we'll say 2, and I'll say 2. You see there is an option if you want to grade by hand. What that does is you just go into it later and grade, so that would be your essay and short answer. But like I said, if I were you, simplify your life and just do that on paper on the side. So I'm going to hit continue. The next thing it's going to do is it's going to ask me, you see in here, which one is the answer key. So I can see all the people that took it in here. And like I said, this is why you want to be the first or the last, because depending on how many kids you have. So my answer key, there you go. I can see answer key, answer key. Now, you may get students who get smart, okay? Because I've done it. They've seen me use Flubaroo, and they start naming themselves answer key, which is funny until they get a 0 because they didn't put their name in. Ha ha, and I laugh at them. So enjoy that. So I'm going to hit continue, and now Flubaroo does something, and it's magically grading the assignment. So you see what it did? It actually opened up an additional sheet right down here at the bottom. It's going to say my Flubaroo grading is complete. Wow, that's cool. See, it gives you a little hint. I can close this, and now I can see how everyone did. There are a total of 6 points possible. The average points was 2.79. There were 78 submissions, and number of low-scoring questions were 2. So that means there were 2 that were below average. So as a teacher, that would tell me, maybe I did something wrong in there, or gave the test to the wrong class, you know. I don't know if you guys ever done that. It's kind of fun. I once gave an advanced economics class to a junior achievement class, and no one complained. You know, it's like, what's wrong with you guys? But you can see in here it graded it, and then you can see there's ones that are red and there's ones that are black. Red would mean they're below average. Black would mean they did well. So Liz, wherever you are, congratulations, you did really well. All right, but we can see all this different stuff that's in there. So it's really cool. As a teacher, I can go through, I can see all that information. Now the next thing that's really cool too is I can go back to my add-ons. If I go to Flubaroo, I can say share grades. And so what that's going to do is actually going to email everyone their results. So I can say email address question. So it's like saying which of those little columns was the email. You can say how do you want to share it via email. You can have it go through Google Drive. All right. You don't have to include the questions and scores. So you could say here it was graded, because I know some people, because kids don't do this, is when they're done with the test, they don't go start telling everyone else what the answers are, right, for the next hour. You know, it's amazing. They can't memorize like the first person in the United States, but they can memorize the 100-question quiz. You know, A, D, C. All right. So I'll include that stuff in there, and I'll say thanks. I'll hit continue. And then magically, right now, this is starting to email everyone. So in a minute, we're going to see who has their phones on silent and who does not. All right. Hopefully, you have no embarrassing ringtone or notifications. All right. But it's going to start emailing everyone. Actually, it's going to take a second because there's 78 of you. So it's reading through that to do that. All right. But that's Flubaroo. Something kind of very simple, and you can see very quick and easy to do. Oop, there it goes. One person had a bad email, you naughty people. All right. And they probably spelled their own school name wrong. So if you guys actually check your emails, you should see that coming in about now. All right. So Flubaroo, you guys like that one? It's kind of fun, quick. I mean, plus it looks good. You know, you don't have to be very tech savvy to make that one work. It's good. All right. So let's talk about the next one. All right. So let's get rid of Flubaroo. Look, we learned that. Boom. Now, form limiter. What I kind of did is I did like kind of really maybe a little more complex ones and then something simple. Complex, simple, complex, simple. You know, the sandwich. I don't want to blow your minds too much. All right. Form limiter. Okay. Form limiter is a really neat one. Anyone ever use Google Forms to do like class elections or junior prom's coming up, right? So we're all voting for junior prom people. So we say, okay, at 3 o'clock today, voting will stop. And then bell rings, you forget, and people are voting for 2 days later because you never disabled the Google form. Form limiter actually has a built-in feature to stop a form from being active. All right. So this is the form that you guys see. So you guys can go in there if you want to vote, and you know which Grand Rapids brewery. Yeah. If you were locked in a Grand Rapids brewery overnight, which one would you prefer? All right. I would not say Bob's because they ran out of beer. Okay. I was there last night and they had like 2 beers left on tap. I'm like, oh. All the Youpers went there though. That's why. So now, this is an example of a add-on that's inside a Google form. All right. So now I'm actually in the edit mode of forms. All right. If you haven't made a Google form for a while, you'll notice it changed. They've updated the look for good and bad. Some things are really cool, some not so much. Now, what they do in Google Forms is the add-ons are kind of hidden. You may see this puzzle piece. This puzzle piece is Google add-ons that you've already added. Okay? So when this first came out, I'm like, well, how the heck do I add more add-ons? I can't find my add-ons. You got to click this little settings button over here. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not the settings. The 3 little dots. See this little guy right here that they hide over here? If you click the 3 dots, that's where you find all the add-ons for Google Forms. And there are a bunch. There used to be like 2, all right? And now they've added a whole bunch of different ones in here that you can do. So this one comes up, you see there's a bunch of different stuff. There's like cool math equation. If you're a math teacher, this uses like LaTeX. So you can put like weird equations, which I don't know what any of those things mean. You can see there's different ones in here. There's like notifications, a choice eliminator. We're going to be talking about that. A doc appender. All right. You can see there's a bunch of different ones, but one in here is form limiter. Form limiter. Where are you hiding? Did I miss it? Like, am I just totally staring at it? And thank you. The big one. You know. Ooh. So you can add this one. And what this does is I'll add it onto my form here. if I hit form limiter, this little guy comes up. I could say set limit. And so a couple things that I can do in here. You can set it for date and time limits. So for example, I can say stop accepting responses on a certain date at a certain time. So I could say stop getting responses today at, and we'll say 8:50. Oh, I got hit set. And then you can actually put a little personalized message in here. You could say like, you were too late. You fail. Smiley face. All right. So you could put something in like that. So if you have something that's set up, it automatically closes it. Maybe you do like our school does like breakfast with an expert like once in a while. So they invite some really cool nerdy person to come in and talk nerdiness to kids, and they're like, "Look, I built a submarine," you know, and which I didn't know we had in our town, you know, inland. But kids have a certain date to register by, so we have this set on. This is also nice. You can actually have it email you to remember that it closed, because sometimes you set these things up like months in advance and you even forget the form sitting out there. All of a sudden you get an email. It's like, this form closed. Oh man, I need to look at that. Okay. You can also limit max number of responses. So for example, our breakfast with the expert, we limit it down to, I think it's like 50 or 60 kids, because we just can't do any more than that. So we could say once the number of responses hits 60, we could say the form is closed. So if you're doing something open, you can automatically shut it right off once it hits a max limit. So that's kind of a neat thing. We did this with junior prom voting because we knew there were 150 kids that should be voting. So I put it at like 152 just in case, you know, somehow something goofs up. But once it hit that, it stopped it, because we didn't want like a freshman to somehow find the link to the form and start voting and make it a big hassle for us. So it's kind of a cool little kind of trick hack you can do in there. You could also do destination spreadsheet cell. So I actually haven't figured out why you would use this quite yet. I'm sure there's some way. But you could say once it hits like a certain spot in the spreadsheet, stop. All right? So it's kind of a weird little thing. But that's just form limit. I mean, that's it. That's all that add-on does, but very simplistic and gives you a lot of control over your Google form. All right? Lots of cool little stuff you can do in there. All right? Let's see what our responses were. Now I'm curious. Stop telling me things. So our number founders, followed by Hopcats, and then McDonald's. There we go. The large Diet Coke, light ice. That's my cup of tea. All right. And then Grand Rapids Brewery. So good choices, everybody. Good choice. All right. Any questions on that one? Pretty simple. Pretty cool. All right. Boom. Let's close that guy. Form limiter. It's gone. Now Appender. I like Appender. All right. This one has a lot of different things. So here's one I made for an example of a daily student behavior form. All right. Because this is really fun, right? The state, I don't know if anyone's a special ed teacher, but like the state has just cracked down on like going. We just got, one of our schools got audited, and that was fun. So we have a daily student behavior form here. And so kind of what I did is I set this up so that you can see like the date, the form, the student demonstrated expected behavior. Did the student come prepared? Did you have at least one positive interaction with the kid? Any non-complaint? I think I spelled that wrong. Oh, well. And then positive behaviors. So what you notice is I have no students here. All right? So I want students to come in. So what I have, this is kind of an interesting thing. I got my little folder here called Appender. So I got my form, I got my responses, but also what I have is my student daily reports. So what I have in here is, I got 5 students. Goodbye, Samantha. Copy. You're not in there. Boom. I got 4 students. All right, Cook, Samantha, Harris, Helen, Sorrento, Nolan, and Watts, Wade. All right. Right now, if I go into any of these, they're blank. Hopefully, I cleared it. So we see it's blank. But what I want is those student behavior daily reports to magically come into here when a teacher completes it. Okay. So that's what we're going to do right now. In your Google form, and not literally yours, and mine, if you're making one, there is an add-on. Come on, little add-ons. You can do it. there is an add-on called Appender. All right. Now the trick is with Appender, before you can use it, you have to have like a folder like I have here with a document for each person that's going to be in there. Okay. Now you could just make one and copy and paste them down, and then it works. All right. That's all I did. I made one and then just copied and made all the names. So I mean, if you had 275 kids, get a 6-pack of Founders and just sit here and go through it, or a keg. Now when I run the Appender, this little guy comes up and says, okay, let's open the sidebar. And this fun little thing pops up over here on the side. And it's going to walk me through exactly what to do. So the first thing is pick your target doc folder. What they mean by that is like this folder I'm in right now. All right, the student daily reports. Otherwise, you can actually go through and it will have you go through the steps to make it. Half the time, though, I've done it freezes or I lose track what I'm doing. Do it beforehand and your life will be easier. So I'm going to say pick from drive. And this is where naming things really helps. All right. So you can see I have all these different folders. So the better I name it, the easier it is to get to it. So student daily reports. I'll hit select. I can see that selected folder has come up and popped in here. I can then hit next. Then the second step is doc picker questions. So what it's saying is which of these questions over here is where those student names are going to show up. That's all it's asking. If you ever click this is where I teach people and they freak out. Like, I hit the drop down, there's nothing there, there's nothing there. Refresh list, all right? When I hit refresh, then all that stuff comes out. I don't know why it doesn't just do it automatically, but I can't program, so I don't care. I'll pick select student. Then when I hit save and populate, all those student names magically came in here. All right? And because students don't move between school districts, they always stay in the same school, for 1 month. You can come back in if you add students. You just have to hit that save and populate, and it'll just bring the new students in. It won't duplicate students. All right? It won't have like 10 Samantha Cooks because you've hit refresh a couple times. All right? You just hit save and populate, and those people come in. Now, if I hit next, it comes in here and says, okay, which things of your questions do you want to appear on that Google Doc? So you don't have to make everything show up, but normally you kind of do, So I'm going to say I want my timestamp to show up because I want to know when the teacher completes the daily form. It's kind of a good thing. I want to know the student. I want to know the date the form is actually completed for. Because sometimes you get that teacher who doesn't fill out the behavioral forms all week, and then Friday they just go through and make a bunch of crap up. Like good, horrible. Did student demonstrate? I'll mark all these little check boxes. Now down here, there's a way you can make it look different when it comes in the Google Doc, and you'll see what that looks like in a minute. They just recently changed this, and it's okay. But the good version they had isn't there anymore. But there's separate bulleted list, separate vertical tables, and rows, and a horizontal table. I never remember which of the bottom two to pick, So it's always a 50-50, but I like the separate vertical tables. That's my preferred one. It's something you can experiment with and then see which one you like. You can always come back and change them. It doesn't make any difference. Now I'm going to hit enable. And so now this is live. I'm going to minimize this little guy. So what you guys can do is go to that live version of this daily student form that I gave you and try filling this out. Just make up stuff. It's okay. All right. So if you're on my little Trillboard, if you kind of got lost somewhere in there, we're in the Appender one, and you can click where it says daily student behavior form. If you click that, it opens up this guy, and you can kind of pick students and start completing the form for them. So take a minute to do that so then we can actually see what it looks like once it all merges. Yes?
You made up those questions.
Yep.
In a Google first.
Yep, I made it up. I created the Google Forms before, yeah, just because it would take longer. Yeah, we just, we kind of have like one default behavior form we use for students, and then customize it for kids as they go. Like, did they take a break? Did they not throw something? Yep, so now I can see responses are coming in. They're flying in. Woo, look at that go. So what's happening then is as people submit those, if I pick one of these, how about Nolan Sorrento? Hopefully someone did something to Nolan. He's the bad kid if you don't know. He's the bad one. Anyone catch the names? No? Oh, you all illiterates. No. The book Ready Player One, huh? Ah. So you can see, for example, here's someone filled out that form, and it took all that information and it put into the Google Doc. So if you have multiple teachers doing it, you could have it in there. You could also have like a form for like teacher names, so they could put their teacher name in there. But all that teacher info could feed into one Google Doc. So imagine when an IEP season comes around, or if you're just kind of tracking a student because you know they have a behavioral issue, you could print this all off, bring it to that IEP meeting or parent meeting, be like, well, let's talk about little Jimmy, and it's kind of a cool thing. Very simplistic. All right? So you can see all that coming in. Now this is what the vertical table looks like. The horizontal one just tilts it the opposite way. So the headers are across the top, and the boxes are down there. Yes?
So I noticed that for all the students, they all have the same goals on the form, but they have different goals, they have different forms.
You got a couple different options. All right? So what was your name? Quinette? Quinette had a great question. She goes, okay, well, you had this form, but all the students had the same goals. All right? Which sometimes you may have most of the students have the same goals, but then maybe some are customized. There is a little feature. If you're ever in Google Forms, you can have, let's see here. If you click, like I'm in a question, there's this section that says go to section based on answer. So I could have it set so that if someone picks null, like Wade Watts, I could have a whole separate set of questions on the Google form just for him. So when you pick it and they hit next, it automatically jumps them to Wade Watts questions. The only downfall with this, it works well, it's really cool, is that some people get hesitant in having a teacher see all the names of the special ed students, or something like that. They don't want all the names listed in one spot. That's up to your departments and stuff to want to kind of talk about. Now, other things you could do with this, now I did this in special ed, kind of use that idea, but you could do different things like resources. You could have students submit resources like cool things for U.S. history, and they could, or pick different things. I mean, you can get crazy, do different stuff. I have a teacher or administrator that uses this for staff evaluations. He comes because you have to do like those, the 5-minute. We're learning the Marzano method. All right, so the tech guys get invited to the 5-minute overview. Like, hey, now you know how Marzano works. Support us. It's like okay. So they want like a quick way to review teachers. Come in for 5 minutes. So they come in, hit a drop-down list, and they pick the teacher, and they can do quick 5-minute assessments of staff members. And so free, too, so it works really well. So, I mean, you're only limited by what you can come up with to do this. All right, there's all kinds of weird stuff. All right, so that's Doc Appender. All right, yay. We like that one? Yeah. Yay, someone does. Okay. Choice Eliminator 2. I don't know what Choice Eliminator 1 was. I never saw that one. But we have Choice Eliminator 2 with the worst icon I've ever seen, but it's okay. So here's a Google form. All right, and sometimes we do this. We have like our homerooms or prime times or whatever we want to call them, and we do like a little focused learning thing, right? We have like a little 2-week exploratory or something, all right? So you can see I have like different programs here, so kids can pick which thing they want to go into. But what we want to say, okay, hey, once they reach a certain number, I don't want that as a choice anymore. All right, I want that choice to magically disappear from my Google form. All right, I don't want to hand do it because that's too much work. Okay, so there is. Let me go into my edit mode. In the add-ons, once remember, click that little dot to find your add-ons. Let's go add-ons. There is one called Choice Eliminator 2. There we go. It just reminds me of like that old, not a PowerPoint. What was that before that PowerPoint? Oh gosh, it was awful. But Hyper Studio, like the Hyper Stacks and stuff, So you can see Choice Eliminator 2. You can add that guy. And let me add it now to this. I'll go Choice Eliminator 2. Configure. So you can come in here. It's just kind of saying what are the responses you're looking for, because sometimes you can have Google Forms with multiple sheets. Okay, but normally everyone's going to be the default. Now, if I pick available programs, you can see Eliminate Choices is there. And there's that little gear to configure. So I could say, okay, what do I want, to happen? So I could say, here's the stuff. I could say, okay, coding. 3 people are allowed to be in that one. Basketball, 7. Gardening. We're really pushing that because the school lunch program needs more vegetables. And local history, we'll put like 8. Oh, 18. Why not? All right. So I could set those limits in there. I could put whatever I want. I can also take one out and say there is no limit. I could say, you know what, maybe, hey, gardening, we really do need those vegetables. Boom, no limit for that guy. All right. So I can close this little dude, and that little thing's going to run. Now, this is really neat, but there is one little crevasse with it. Is if everyone opens the Google form at the same time, it doesn't really refresh. So it's kind of a little stinker. If you know what I mean, if everyone's voting right now, so I see responses coming in, if everyone was sitting on that Google form at the same time, those choices aren't always removing automatically. It won't do it until the next time the form refreshes. Different ways around that is if you're doing a mass scheduling. I don't know how you guys do it, but we did one at one of our schools. We had a bunch of Chromebooks set up and did a kiosk mode so that only the Google form was there. So you could only have so many. You can only have like 10 students do it at a time, and then when they hit submit, the whole Chromebook turned off and turned back on, so we knew the form would refresh. All right. But if you guys through, I'll go in here and let's see what a live one looks like. Let's preview it. Let's see if I have any options left. Oh, local history. No one likes local. Man. So I could come in here. I could pick that guy and fill it out. But you can see those choices automatically eliminate as it goes. If you're a teacher, you can see there's lots of cool things. Administrators, this is good for maybe a kind of time slots. You're saying you have office hours or something like that. It's kind of cool, different things. If you have a wedding coming up, and you're only going to have 10 steaks and 300 chicken, you can set those limits in there. I'm the guy who always orders the steak and I get the veggie platter. I'm like, really? I didn't build this body with broccoli. So that one's a nice, simple guy, and you can see it works pretty good. Like I said, you just got to remember that one little rub, that has to refresh. Yes?
So what would happen if they did refresh and pick the selection that was already eliminated?
You may end up getting a couple overloads somewhere.
So they don't get a notification?
Nope, they won't get one. I tried it because I was curious. But no, it let them do it anyways. So you just got to kind of watch that as it goes. Like I said, if you just kind of think out the way you're going to do it, you wouldn't be able to do a mass email, really. That wouldn't work. Well, maybe during school, because it's going to blank it out, when those kids actually click the link. But if you have 500 kids in one room and you say, everyone go to this form, that ain't going to turn out too well, You got to think of a way of how can you get them staggered to do it. And like I said, if you set up kind of tables and do it that way, it turns out pretty good. All right. And kiosk mode. If you ever use kiosk mode for Chromebooks, my gosh, it's so cool. You can have little Chromebooks sitting around with presentations for open houses and stuff, and really neat stuff. So what a kiosk mode does is so I see some Chromebooks around. When you open up and there's the sign-in window, you can make it so it doesn't even go to that. It just launches a website. So when the Chromebook opens, boom, just shoots them somewhere. And so they have no choice. So we do a STEM night. And so we had games we wanted them to play. But I mean, it's kindergartners. They can't type crap, So we had it so it just automatically went to this website. And only the things we wanted them to do were listed there. All right. So NICU, anyone do NICU? Some really cool person built a Chromebook kiosk app for it. So students can't cheat because, when you do online testing, they never open up an additional tab and look up answers, Teachers they're shocked. How could they do that? I'm like, why wouldn't they? I would, But if you use the kiosk app, it just launches them straight into the NICU website and they can't go anywhere else because there's no URL bar, so they can't type anything. So it's fun.
How do you spell that?
It's NAIKU. They're really good if you're It costs money, but they're pushing hard in Michigan. I think it's on the not spot, but they're really fighting for like the big REMC kind of price and stuff. So, all right, so choice eliminator, boom. Hey, look, that one's eliminated. All right, roster sync. Anyone use Google Classroom? Yay, Google Classroom folks. So much better than last year, isn't it? I mean, it's getting better. But the one thing I didn't like about it, I mean, I like it, is that you can email all the students, right, with one button. But sometimes you just need all the students' email addresses. Because like you're going to go to like some website like Book Adventure or Sponge Lab, and you can mass create student accounts, right? But you have to have all their email addresses. Well, how the heck do you get all their email addresses? I'm not going to hand type each of that. That's just ridiculous. All right. So what you do is I'm going to create a new Google Sheet in my Google Drive. All right. So I'm going to say new sheet. I'm always afraid I'm going to say that wrong someday. So here's my Google Sheets. In the add-on section, loading, it's just like Google Forms. You can come into this add-ons. There's a spot that says Get Add-ons. And just like Flubaroo, you see all that stuff in there. One of the ones in there is called Roster Sync. Let me find my roster sync. Oh, you know that choice eliminator? We're not going to talk about this one. But choice eliminator, if you have computer labs, there's a lab scheduler. So it automatically steals stuff as they do it. So takes it. But Google Calendars works better, to be honest. Roster sync. There it is right there, roster sync. You can add that one. So if I go add-ons, roster sync, I can hit launch. Now note, this can work in two ways. I can grab info from Google Classroom and bring it to my Google Sheet, or I can take it from Google Sheets and send it to Google Classroom. So if you were creating your beginning of the year rosters, and you can do like an export from your gradebook of all your kids and like their emails, you could bring them into Google Classroom that way too. So I haven't tried it that way, but you could. So you just kind of go through the steps in here. I'll just pick the default. You can see course and classroom. So magically it finds all your Google Classroom classes. So I'll pick let's pick an 8th grade computers. It says sync direction. You know what? Just because they're students. I'm going to pick BTS. You can see these guys. I don't care. I'll pick that guy. If I pick sync direction, so I'm going to say from classroom to sheet. So I'm going from my Google Classroom to my Google Sheet. I'll hit run. I think I have people in here. I was going to do the student one, but then I thought I'm recording this, and I don't want to show students' email addresses. Teachers, I don't care. You guys can email them. So you can see it's coming in with the students. So these are students then. Their first name, their last name, their email address. And if they're currently active or if they've left the classroom. If you have students that leave. Because we all maintain our rosters really well in here, But you can see it's all in there. So if you go to a site like I said, Sponge Lab, which is a really cool science resource, all kinds of fun interactives that work on Chromebooks, you can create the student accounts beforehand. That's all the information you need to create a student account in there. You just come through here, copy this stuff, paste it in there, and counts are made. You print the roster, and you look really cool, all right, to yourself, because no one else cares. It makes me feel better. But this is great. I mean, I love this feature, because you just grab all of your kids' email addresses that way, and you can do what you need to do with them, all right? I don't know why. They should have that in Classroom as a feature, just export. But now you can do it, All right. Questions on that one? Cool. Well, the big thing is just grabbing those emails. A lot of times we have maybe we have professional. If they don't use Google Classroom for the professional development in their schools, some of you guys. So you wanting to grab all your staff emails in a certain way. Otherwise you have to email. You have to get everyone into a thing or manually type it. The big application is just taking all those email accounts. It's a way to grab those and do something. What I kind of mean though too is when you create accounts, so like Sponge Lab, you can set up groups in there like classes, and otherwise students have to create their own, and it's hard. If you ever seen students try to create, teachers, not that you guys are bad, all right, but I was in a session yesterday. I mean, oh my gosh, all they had to do was click a link and type their name, and it was like the most painful thing in history. All right, this you can get all set up beforehand. I could spend one night set up, if I have 9 classes, get all my classes set up in like Newsella or Teen Tribune or Sponge Lab, have all their accounts made before the next day. I don't have to do anything then. I mean, the students don't. It's all pre-made. Right? Anyone use Newsella? Newsella? Yeah. Stop that. It costs money. Tween Tribune is free. And it's the same thing. Tween Tribune. Tween. It's made by the Smithsonian. So you got to watch it because if it's a government holiday, they're not updating their website. Learn that one. But Tween Tribune, so they have different ones for different grades. And it's Spanish. See. All right. But that one's free. Whee, that's fun. Works the same. Looks just like Newsella, kind of. All right? Or Newsella, whatever you want to call it. I think it's Newsella. I love Newsella. And then I saw how much they wanted to charge me. I said, I don't think so. Bonus feature. Hey, you know what? Boom, we'll put it over here. TweenTribune.com. Bonus. All right? So application, put the emails right into that thing. You'll be set. All right, let's get rid of that guy. Now, Autocrat. I love Autocrat. This is like my favorite thing of all time. And I teach this all the time. I've never been able to get, I think, one teacher I've ever taught in all my districts to actually use it. Okay? So today, you're going to use it. So what it is, if we go into this guy and click Journaling Made Interactive. So this one, I kind of picked a journaling aspect. You can do different stuff with this. But if I come in here, what I want you guys to do is take a minute and fill out this Google form. Make sure, please, to use a correct email address. All right? Because then you get emailed something really cool. Not going to right away because I haven't set it up yet.
This is an add-on, right?
Yes, this is an add-on. This is actually going to be a Google Sheet add-on. So. I'll fill one out myself. Let's see. Justin Cowan. Gagel. So once you hit submit, just kind of like I did, so I'm kind of assuming most of us get the same point because I did it through myself. Everyone's getting these responses, and they're all kind of coming in. Normally, it's what we do in a Google form. Responses that goes in there, and then just nothing happens. We get all this cool data and don't do anything with it. All right? What we're going to do is I have a little folder in here called Autocrat. Now, when you start using Autocrat, knowing and organizing folders is very important because I'm going to start creating a lot of stuff. All right? So the better organized I am, the better. So normally what I do is I'll make like a folder. I'll call it like Autocrat something for what I'm doing so that everything's going to feed right. All right? So in Autocrat, what we do is not only do I make a Google form, all right? And one way to think of this is we're making a Mad Lib pretty much. All right? We're just going through making a Mad Lib. I have my form, but I also made a Google Doc template. All right? And what I did in my Google Doc template is I kind of set up, if you ever did mail merges back in the day, you know, like Microsoft Access, and you mix it with Word, and you get the really cool stuff. And when you learn how to do it, everyone wants you to help them make their kids' graduation announcements and stuff. But I came in here and I typed up a little story. All right? But what I did is I want to take your answers from Google Forms and plop them into this. All right? So what I did is then there's certain spots like this guy, I put like these little carrots. All right, I do a double caret, so it would be something. I'll make it look really big here. Oh, let's zoom in. There we go. Really big, okay? So we come in here, if it was like my father, he'd be grabbing his magnifying glass or, like a, cell phone and zooming it in with the camera so you can see better. But what you do is you type these little things. I type like the caret. I type some kind of word. You can put whatever you want in there. It's something only for you to know what it means, okay? But like I always say, anytime you do education, always assume someone's going to see it, Don't be like, dumb kids, that's not good, Parents I hate, Then you have to close it with 2 more carets. So you open with 2 carets, you close with 2 carets. There's probably a better technical term for that, like less than, greater than signs or something. But you put those guys in there, and you're creating a tag. And what Autocrat's going to do is we're going to pair up your Google Form answers with one of these tags, and then they merge together. Okay? So we kind of set it up just like that. Now, what I'm going to do is I also note I made a folder up here called Autocrat Responses. This is where all my responses are going to dump. Okay? You got to plan ahead. Make one of those folders because otherwise there's 78 people in here. I would have 78 documents just shoot through this thing. It'd be crazy. So what I'm going to do, I did that quick, I'm going to open up my responses right here. All right, so when you do Google Form, it creates a response. I'm going to open this guy up, and here's everyone's answers. Okay? Now, you would go up to your add-ons. There's just a lot of you, so it's reading. Add-ons. And Autocrat. So that's one of the ones you can get from Get Add-ons. There's Autocrat. And I can hit launch. This one takes a second to load sometimes, so you gotta be a little patient. All right, but Autocrat's opening up. I could say I want to do a new merge job. So if you ever make one of these, you can always go back and edit them. It's not like you're stuck. You can always go back. So I'm gonna say a new merge job. Little pinwheel death spins. It comes into here. This is a spot where you choose that template. So that Google Doc that I made with all the little carrot dudes, this is what I would do. You could hit create example. Like you could make it live in here. But it's so much easier to have it pre-made. So I'm going to say pick from drive. Now I got to find it in here. I could search it, but what fun is that? Journaling made interactive. There it is. March 7th. Yeah, that's the right one. It doesn't seem right. Maybe it is. I don't trust that. Let's look at MACUL. 2016. Getting crazy with Google add-ons. Autocrat. There it is. Select. So it's just taking that little template that I made with all the carrots, it's finding all the carrots. So you have to name your merge job. So if you want to edit it, here's a really important tip. Do not hit enter. Right? Normally you type something and you hit enter. If you do that, the whole thing's going to crash. It's like a little bug they have. All right. So I'm saying MACUL. Instead of hitting enter, click set. Okay. I do this every time. I like hit enter. Oh, why does it freeze? All right. If you hit set, it works. If you hit enter, it freezes. So now what you have to do is you have to tag up. See, remember those tags I had in my Google Doc? Here's all those tags, all the tags that I made. What I do then is I pair them up with my Google Form questions. All right? So school district, that's a tag I made. School district or employer. I'll zoom in a little bit here. All right? Great explanation. Let's see here. That was the adjective. Something you learned. That was down towards the bottom. Your favorite drink. Because we all put school-appropriate things. Resource. Something you want to implement right away. Collective noun. This is the pumpkin one. Adjective. Oh, you know what? I think I got myself goofed up somewhere. Oh, well. Oh, this guy. What you would call your school person. Crate. Da, da, da. Where is that guy? Dum dum dum. Favorite snack. Ooh, last name. I think I missed someone in there, but oh well, we'll just do it live, see what happens. Guys, guy, this I create. That one's right. I feel like I am missing one. Oh, first name, last name, last name. Yeah, I know. What am I missing? Oh, thank you. Wow. Okay. Get myself lost. So the switcheroo, that is this guy. So you get those mapped up, and if you do a better job than I did, it makes it a little easier. I'm gonna hit save. Then what happens? You get really crazy. So I could say, okay, when these files are made, how do I want them named? I'm gonna mail it. I'm gonna say by last name. So you can highlight these little things up here and copy them, like Control C or Command C, whatever device you're using. So I can say name it last name, comma, first name. What file do I want created? You can create a Google Doc or a PDF, whichever one you want to make. All right. I'm gonna do PDF just because I see some people on iPads. I want to make sure you can open it on your iPad really easy. All right. I'm gonna email this to you. So I'm gonna grab your email address, paste it in there, like Autocrat rocks. And I could say, dear, let's see here, first name. Thank you for coming to my session. Smiley face. Tilde Justin Cowan. And I'll put my website on there so you can find it later. .rocks. I'm going to save that as a PDF. Now, you could do it as a Google Doc so that if you ever do like a story prompt, anyone ever do like story prompts for students? When they do the story prompt, it automatically creates all the Google Docs and then shares it to you. And you're actually the owner. So you own it, the student only has edit rights. So it's kind of cool. Really easy way. Now, under advanced settings, you could do things like you could tell this to always run. So anytime someone fills out the Google form, boom, it just makes one. All right? So you can always do it. So I'll say whenever new forms are submitted, run. All right? I'm going to pick that in there. Oh, I'm zoomed in. That's why I can't see. Save. Where'd my save go? Oh, no, it's failing. Oh, there it is. Saves over here. I just scroll over. If you get that, hey, lesson learned. Scroll. I'll hit save. It's doing its little save thing. There's a lot of views, so it takes a second for it to save. Now, because you guys did this after, or you did it before I created the Autocrat, I'm just going to hit run merge. So right now, everyone's going to start getting emails. And it takes a second. Everyone's going to start getting emails with the stuff in there. So see, value one, there were 72 responses so far. And it's going to start doing them. So let's watch it go. One has been merged. And what we'll notice is over here in your Google Sheet, if you scroll to the right, it starts creating the links for all the Google Docs in a PDF. So you can see them here, or in your Google Drive, here's all those coming in. So if I look at mine, for example, because I'll embarrass someone afterwards, you can see it says, hello, my name is Steve Wozniak. Just kidding. My name is really Justin. So I took your answers and stuck it right into this guy. All right. So it's a real kind of neat trick you can do. I've seen, I had a teacher who does this. She does history Mad Libs. So the students have to memorize all the history facts. And then they come in. So they do like a quiz. All right. They're answering all of it. But then it puts all their answers into just weird stuff. You know, it's just kind of exciting. But you could, like I said, you could even, I did a bunch of questions. You could just have one question as a story prompt. And then their answer just comes into here. You know, like, it's a dark and stormy night, you know, and then they fill out, boom, it just automatically creates it. So you can just do a lot of kind of weird, fun stuff with that. All right? Yep. Now, I'm going to go to my email, okay? Hopefully there's nothing weird. I'm also a tech guy, so I haven't checked my email in like 3 days, so don't be ashamed when you see how many unread emails I have. Ooh, here it comes. Oh, hey, that's not too bad. Only 39. All right. So here you can see it emailed me. And you can see, remember, I typed it, Dear Justin, thank you for coming to my session. And then there's the PDF that I had create from doing this. So I did like an hour of code, and I can only take like 60 kids. So I did an Autocrat with form limiter. So form limiter, I said only 60 people. And then I created tickets. All right. So to come to the hour of code, you had to have a ticket. Well, this made the ticket. So when the kids came, they gave me their little ticket. And so it was easy. Then I used it again to make certificates for everyone. You know, print off the little certificates, like, oh, well, I got a certificate, okay? And they all lost them or something. I don't know. I mean, I kept all that crap from high school. You know, I'm like, woo, it's on my wall. Remember Mrs. Yakes? I still have all her stickers she gave me, you know. So that's kind of a cool, little simple thing. Lots of possibilities you can do with it. All right, and I know it looks kind of daunting. Like, you're probably looking at that, and you're like, no, I won't make that. If you make, like, 2 of them, it's easy. You just got to do 1 or 2 and let it fail, and then you'll figure it out, okay? The only one warning I'll give you is every once in a while you'll do this, and it will create things and just say, like, merge data. So instead of actually merging the data, it just says merge data everywhere. The way to fix it is literally delete your job and just redo it, and then it works. So I mean, it's like 1 out of 20 times it happens. So I think it's something more I do, and I just don't know what. Yes?
Strictly Google Forms add-on, or can you, because I have like
Yep.
a list of my kids and I want to make a label for each one of them with their Google sign-ons. Can you do
Sure. There is. Well, let's see. Hopefully I don't kill it. There is in here. There is like a under Power Tools somewhere. There's one you can actually do like a official regular mail merge. Yeah, there is one for it. I can't remember where it is. If you email me, I'll find it for you because I've done it. I did. If you ever go to the MI Google conference, you know I did one there for like administrators and show them how to do it. All right. So I know we only have like 3 minutes left, but hey, we'll just do one quick fun one. Unless you want to run away, you know you can run. I don't mind. It won't hurt my feelings. But if you guys want to do one quick one, the last one on there is mapping sheets. This is really cool because you could take your student information system, get all the kids' email addresses, and map it to see where all your kids live. All right? Because does anyone do a summer food program? You know, and you get reimbursed, right? You get like $2 or something. So you make the food only cost $1.75. So you make 25 cents per kid, and you can almost make a positive amount in your food program, right? So I helped the school district use this so they could figure out they want to do remote food spots. So we said, where's the best place to do the remote food spot? Well, we want to pick wherever the most kids are, right? So we use this to map out where everyone is. So if you want, if you go into that little thing, I'm not asking for your home addresses because that'd be kind of weird, okay? But if you come in here, all you have to do is fill it out. So like Justin Cowan, what best describes me? I am IT. The address of your school district or organization. Now, note, I'm a little picky in how you enter it. No commas. Don't do that. So mine's like 2000 Pile Drive, Kingsford, Michigan, 49802. And we'll put Brighting Township Schools. So what it's going to do is I'm getting all the information from people. Now, if you were doing this for like your food service, you wouldn't have to have a Google form. You could just copy and paste that stuff straight into a Google Sheet. All right? But I don't know your addresses, so that's what I had to do. So I can see everyone's information coming in here, right? So what I would do, once it unfreezes, working. Add-ons. There's an add-on. Ooh, I only got 1 minute left. We'll do it. Add-ons. There's one called mapping. That's just mean. Mapping sheets. I'm going to say start. And they just did an update to this. This is 100 times easier than it was like 3 months ago, which is cool. So I picked mapping sheets. Once again, don't say that wrong. So title, it's just kind of like how in Autocrat we had to match things. I'm going to say match first name and last name. What's the filter? How do you want to break people apart? So you can say boys, girls, age levels or something. So I'm going to say what describes your position and location. So when I hit build, it's going, processing. If you need to run away, run away. If you have to walk, like, fly to the opposite side of whatever that place is called. The boss. Oh, look, view. Here it is. An end result looks like this. It took all those little dots, and I can see the maps coming across. And I can say, I want to look at, ooh, an administrator is here. Yay, if I click admit, oh, I hid them. They're down here. So if I click it, I can see Drew. Drew, where are you? Hey, Drew, thanks for coming, administrator. I can see Drew. I can see what school district it is and his address. So if you did this for your school, you could see where all the kids live, you know, which would be kind of an interesting thing. Also, it's a really good way to catch kids who aren't supposed to be in your school. like, no, you're not living here. We're going to delete you. We don't want to show that. I appreciate everyone for coming. I screen captured the whole thing, so I will post that up. I'll hit